Hey guys, it's Karen and I'm here to talk about this. It is the Rimmel Sun Shimmer In Shower Self Tan Hydrating Lotion, and I believe this to be a dupe for the St Tropez In Shower Tan. Now I don't still have my bottles because I used them. I got two of the small ones, the 60ml ones, and tried and went through them. I think that I used them about 4 times, but I don't still have the bottles obviously, but I have used it so I can compare it to this, and I believe this to be an exact dupe pretty much. I can't see, I'm trying to think if there is any differences. I've just had a look at prices and ingredients, etc., and the only difference to me does seem to be that this is less expensive. So this one is, I got this one from Superdrug, not Boots. I didn't even see it in Boots, but to be fair, I didn't look at the tan stuff when I got this 2 days ago, but I had looked a couple of days before that, so I don't know whether it's yet in the Boots stores. Sometimes Boots stuff I find comes online first, but I found this in Superdrug, and in Superdrug it's currently £6.49, which is a brilliant price for this, and its usual price is £9.99, and on the Boots website it's shown as being £9.99. It's got 200ml in it, and the St Tropez one is £14.50, and it also has 200ml, so they are alike in their size, etc., and even, you know, the same type of tube. So this may be a fairly short video because I think I did I do a video on the St Tropez shower tan? I can't remember, but it wasn't one that I particularly loved because of the application, but the application with this is exactly the same. So the idea is you get in the shower, you have a wash as you would normally, and you rinse off. You then apply this almost like a body lotion and you rub it in, and then you rinse off. I think with the St Tropez one you have to wait. I've got it up on the screen, so we'll read the instructions and the claims and see what I think. With this one you don't need to wait, you just shower immediately off, but I think I know why, and I suppose that is a difference actually. And then that's you getting a tan, and you're supposed to use it and build up using it. Use it every day until you get the colour that you would like, and it says on this one the more you use, the thicker a layer, the better a tan you'll get, and that's totally true. However, that comes with some downfalls, as you'll see when I show you my hands. Let's see what it says on the St Tropez one. It says 3 minutes, yeah, whereas this one says 1 minute. So it says fully cleanse and wash with the shower off, apply the product, wait 3 minutes. This is on the St Tropez one, whereas on this one it doesn't say that. I was curious to see if it would say online, but on the back it certainly doesn't say to wait any amount of time. Let's have a look, make sure it's the Rimmel one. Yeah, it says shower, sweep lightly, no need to shiver in the shower. As soon as the product is evenly applied, rinse off carefully straight away. Pat yourself dry, avoid rubbing, and that's you done. So actually the difference is that this one there is no wait time, whereas with the St Tropez one there was the 3 minutes. And actually I definitely did a review, but it's whether I did it in a new at the drugstore or whether I did a standalone review. I know that people were coming up with ideas for me for the 3 minutes, because what I was saying was I didn't like the fact that if I was going to have a shower, I didn't want to put something all over me and just be standing there for 3 minutes. I just found that unusual, and a few people have said clean your teeth, but it's very difficult because you've got to have the lotion on the back of your hands, and then, you know, you're going to be standing sort of dripping wet, leaning over the sink, like get out of there. I don't know, it just was all, I didn't like the idea of standing there for 3 minutes. So when I read that this you could just rinse off, I thought that was absolutely brilliant. What I did worry about with this was that because it was rinse off that there would be barely any colour. I was convinced that I would not see any difference in my skin at all, and that it really would take 3 or 4 days to build up the colour, because the St Tropez tan, and I don't know whether I said this in the video or whether I learnt it after I did the video, is one that you had to put a very thick layer on to get any kind of colour. If you just put a thin layer on, you wouldn't see very much difference. But even with a thick layer, it was such a light tan, you definitely needed to use it 2 or 3 nights in a row, which is another reason that I didn't like it, because for me, I might as well take one evening out of 7 or 5 or whatever and, you know, really put myself tan on, be careful when getting dressed and all of that, to have to do something and stand in the shower 3 minutes every night for 3 nights in a row just to get a bit of a tan. It just didn't make sense to me. This one is a little bit different, I think, because I've used this twice now. The first time I used it, I did put a very thin layer on because you just never know, and I did get a very light colour, and it feels different on the skin. The St Tropez one, when you've rinsed it off, I felt like you couldn't feel really like there was much product on your skin. It didn't feel, it felt like maybe a moisturiser, a light moisturiser, but nothing more than that. Whereas with this one, it feels more like a balm or something mixed with oil, I could feel it on my, you know, even though I got the shower and rinsed all the way down. Oh, what have I got all over my jumper? Some sort of fluff. I rinsed down my arm, and I was actually looking at it, and I thought I could see it. You can see a sort of shine, and you can see that there's a layer of something on you, even though you've showered it off. You don't wash it off, you just rinse it off. But that did give me a nice light tan. So I used it again last night, and I thought, well, it's obviously is the same as the St Tropez one, and it says on the back here that you need to put that the thicker layer, how does it describe it? The more often you apply, the more intense the tanning result will be. Well, maybe it doesn't say that. Maybe I just made that up. Yeah, maybe I made that up. It doesn't say it on the Rimmel one, but I know that it is the case with the St Tropez one. The thicker layer you put on, the darker the tan. So yesterday I used it again in the bath, and I just put it on my arms and just sort of kept my arms like that. The difficult thing is you put it on your palms. Actually, my palms seem to be okay, and you need to have something like a face cloth or whatever to wipe it off your palms, because you can't wash it off, because otherwise it'd wash it off the top of your hands. So I sat like that for a minute. I did wait a minute, and then I showered it off, but I put more on, and I could, like, again, I could see that big I could see that layer, that thick layer of something on. So I did just pat dry, but what's happened is my hands have gone patchy. So I know that I should have known, really, because I could see that it was quite thick there, and I did have quite a thick layer on here. And so what I should have done is treated it like I do my normal tan. If I'm using a tan on my hands, which I don't normally use a self tanner, I normally use a gradual tan on my hands. Does this say that this says self tan as opposed to gradual tan? The St Tropez one calls itself a gradual tan. This one is a self tan. Excuse me. And I should have done what I would normally do with my hands, which would be to put a gradual tan on. I then slather my hands in moisturiser, and I make sure I rub it into, like, the knuckles and this kind of area here. And you can see that this one's a bit uneven. I obviously didn't have the same level there, but if I pull my sleeves up, I think my arms are not patchy at all. I think they're absolutely fine. You know, there's no, even on my elbows, I don't think it's particularly patchy, is it? I mean, I suppose that does look a little bit patchy. That one, not so much. But that's because I left a thick layer. Actually, I realised I started off by saying that I didn't think there were too many differences other than price, but clearly there are. This one you don't need to wait any amount of time. The St Tropez one you need to wait 3 minutes. St Tropez one is a gradual tan, this one is a self tan. If you put a thick layer on of the St Tropez one, it doesn't go patchy, but you get a very light colour. With this one, if you put a thick layer on, it does go patchy. So those are the differences, but there isn't any, I didn't notice any scent from either of them. Let's see if I've got a scent from this. I mean, there's a kind of shower gel scent. There's not a tan scent from either of them. I seem to remember the St Tropez didn't have a strong scent. I think that might be slightly stronger. The ingredients are pretty much the same. They've both got, you know, the tanning ingredient and little bits of perfume in them, nothing crazy. They've both got moisturising ingredients in. My skin does feel very soft. I did use this as a self-tanner on my feet and legs. I just wanted to see, would it work as a usual self-tanner, if you know what I mean. I don't think it needs water to activate it, so I've put it on my legs and feet, and it has gone patchy. So I think it's definitely one that needs to be put on a very thin layer, and the water, I think, will help to spread it in a thinner layer. Perhaps that's the idea, you know, you mix it with the little bit of water that's left on your body, helps to disperse it. But anyway, I think that's all there is to tell you about it. I definitely would recommend it. It might sound a bit wishy-washy, and obviously I'm not happy that I've got patchy hands, and I have tried to scrub some of this off, but I know that is my own fault. That is user error. That's not the product as such, because, like I said, this is a self tan as opposed to a gradual tan, so I should have been more careful, because every tan goes patchy on my hands. And I would recommend, if you use this, to do that light layering and build that up over a couple of nights. And I know that there's some of my viewers that love the St Tropez In Shower tan, even though I didn't like it. So I think for you guys, you will love this, because as long as you put a thin layer on, because I think a lot of you, the reason that you loved it is because it's kind of foolproof in that you don't get patchy with that St Tropez one. And as long as you wear a thin layer of this, you won't go patchy either, and it's actually simpler than the St Tropez one because you don't have to wait as long. So, but at the minute as well, with it being £6.49 in Superdrug, I think because it's a new product, I think that's an absolutely brilliant price to try it out. That's everything. Let us know in the comments if you've used this, if you've seen it in your stores. I think that's always helpful to everybody, and if you've used this and the St Tropez one, what you think of the differences. I'll let you know what I've got on my face. I decided to go for a bluey greeny look today, as you can see, or a bluey purple look maybe. I'm not sure if this colour is blue or green, but it's called Mermaid and it's by Makeup Geek, and I just use Makeup Geek eyeshadows for the rest as well. It's Unexpected in the crease, and then it's a really dark purple one, Drama Queen, that's the one that's in the outer corner. On my cheeks I've got Whisper of Pink, I'm pretty sure it's called by MAC. And on my lips I have got my favourite liquid lipstick by Stila called Baci. And what's the foundation I used? Probably True Match, yeah, L'Oreal True Match, that's what I use most days at the minute. That's everything. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.